Roberto Hernandez. I'm a packaging intern, and this is my final presentation. Okay, let's go over my agenda. Number one, I will introduce myself briefly, and then I will talk about my projects and key takeaways. And then, is there any question that you will ask me? That's the moment. All right, so about myself, I was born and raised in Lima, Peru. I came to the United States in 2013. 1 year after, I started college in Tuskegee University, where I am majoring in mechanical engineering. I am set to graduate next semester, hopefully. About my hobbies, I love traveling and hiking. Actually, I have right here 2 pictures of my last 2 trips in Peru. I also enjoy watching and playing soccer a lot and tennis. I had the opportunity to visit the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and watch an Atlanta United game. It was an amazing experience, so I like this stadium a lot. And the last thing that I like, vehicles. I like any type of vehicles. I love to, yes, I love to learn how to repair them, how to change brakes, any kind of fluid. I have a background in maintenance, that's why I think I love this hobby. Okay, so now my project. Project My Wirehead is my main project, and it's a huge project. It's a $55 million investment, and I think I was very lucky to be part of this team. The scope is in-housing approximately 75% of the Clorox disinfecting wipes production volume. I supported the packaging team during 2 stages, the construction and commissioning. My contributions to the project are shown in this diagram, but today I will talk about only 3 of them. We have center lining, safety maps, and the substrate racks. Okay, so let's start with the substrate racks. My objective here was to storage 2 different sizes of rolls, 105 and 112 inches diameter rolls in 28 racks. For those who are not familiar with the rolls I am talking about, right here I have a picture. This is the roll that we use at Atlanta West. We use it at the on-wine to get our small rolls, or donuts like we call it, for our Clorox wipes. So that being said, I had to create a layout on AutoCAD to show the best distribution of these 28 racks. It was an interesting assignment because I had to take a lot of measurements, make sure that there is enough, the clearance is enough for the forklift to pass. Also to make sure that the racks do not touch any pipe or is there any obstruction with the racks. I also had the opportunity to oversee the installation, to work with the contractor, answer to any question that they had about my drawing. And this picture shows what we currently have at Atlanta West. I really like this assignment. It was an amazing experience. After the installation of these racks, I just had to create a safety plan to protect the forklifts. To protect the racks from any forklift damage. I worked with 2 operators to find what is the maximum distance between the forklift and the racks, so there is any contact between these 2 objects. That's why we see in these pictures, we see tape on the floor and tape in the forklift, so the operator can match it, so they know where's the limit. Of course, this is just momentarily because in the future we are going to use a different type of tape, a better quality one. Next, the plant requested to protect the leg racks, and that's what I did a research on post protectors or rack guards. And I considered that these are the best one for our application because they are made of a polymer material, which they basically can absorb the energy of the impact, and they can bounce it back. So that's the reason why I purchased 44 of them, and we have them on site now. They are ready to be installed. So my second assignment is about center lining, and my objective here was to determine the best settings for production. I developed 2 center lining lists for 2 lines, 2 on-wine lines. Right here we got the on-wine number 2. This system has subsystems. We have the on-wine by itself, the rewinder, tail seal, lock up, accumulator, and the extractor. I developed as a center-line list for each subsystem independently. But why is center lining important? Well, first, it's important because we can increase the efficiency of the machinery. We can also ensure that the best settings are always used during production. And last, the settings can be easily confirmed by every shift by the operators. So now I will talk about how I did this assignment. That my first step was to identify all the adjustment points on the system. There were a lot of them. Right here I have an example. This is an adjustment point, the extractor, and we also have adjustment points on the HMI screens. My second step was to determine the best settings, and for this step I used the recipe provided by the manufacturer. And after that step, we have to make a decision. We can either eliminate the adjustment point, or we can fix the adjustment point. For example, if we want to fix the adjustment point, in this case, we can easily remove the bolts, and we can weld it, so nobody can move it. Our third option is we can add a gradient scale. Well, in this case, it doesn't apply because there's already a scale at this point. So this is an example of how all the information was documented. What I consider most important here is that each adjustment point has a minimum and a maximum value. So anyone or an operator can verify if the current value is out of range or not. My contribution to this list is that I created a tag name for each adjustment point, and I did it this way. The first two letters, it depends on the subsystem that we are referring to. In this case, for example, RW stands for rewinder, but we also have we have the on-wind or tail seal. The part number two, we have 4 categories. We have a scale or hand wheel or gauges or pneumatic valves. And part number 3, if the number starts with a 0, is for the on-wind number 1. If it starts with a 2, is for the on-wind number 2. In addition to this, each adjustment point has been labeled with their tag name respectively, as we can see in this picture. Okay, so this is my third assignment, the lockout safety maps. I developed 4 safety maps for 4 different systems, for Spark, Atlanta West, sorry. The systems are the multi-divider, the DFS blocker, the process tank farm, and the bolt unloading area. Right here I have an example of the safety map. And the components that I look for here were the e-stops, either local or global e-stops, disconnects, door interlocks, or air dumps too. I like this assignment because I think this is very important for the plant, because every time that we do a changeover, the operators have to check this map. What I think is most important here is to find how many locks we need for the lockout. In this case, 2 are needed, and since for Clorox safety is important, that's why I really like this assignment. In addition, each symbol, each component has their part number for easy recognition, so everyone can recognize it easily. This is just the second part of the safety map. I just wanted to show it because it contains a lot of important information, such as the location of the components, or what kind of components we are referring to, and the procedure to make sure that if the component has been disconnected or not. Okay, so this is my key takeaways. Number 1 is be proactive. I think this is very important because it's very important to look for opportunities at the job. For example, at Atlanta West, sometimes I feel like if I don't have nothing to do, but you can always go to the floor and find something to help, and that's why I really like it. Research is also important because there were a lot of concepts and terms that I wasn't familiar with, and that's why I think it's so important. Networking as well. I found many people that helped me a lot, and I'm really glad for that. So the last thing I would thank the team, George Hendrick, my manager, Don Stables, Larissa Cook, Gabby Costa, Ray, my wire team, Alana West, and the interns that made my experience very nice here. So thank you, everyone. Is there any question? Oh, yeah.
Just a couple. I know very little about the production process, and certainly what you're doing now is new to the company too, but how come 105-inch and 112-inch rolls? Was that the, a range that they would come between 105 and 112, or those two different size rolls?
They are two different sizes of rolls that we use for, because we have different counts of rolls. We have a 35 count, a 75 count wipes. So that's why we need the different sizes of rolls. Yeah.
And then second, when you talk about the center line project, now we're bringing in equipment that we've never used before, right? So you have the person selling it to you that's going to help you install it, fine. But we go back to our co-packer, that was doing it previous to this, and ask them for, how they set up the equipment or how they did their set line?
No. Actually, the manufacturer did.
Manufacturer?
Yeah, the manufacturer did. Yeah.
Okay.
BCMC. Yeah, they help us through all the installation process, and they still there, training people and helping us out installing that system. Yeah.
Related to the centerline question, so to centerline it, you can physically center it up, or you can run the equipment to get it kind of in operational ready, and then centerline it. And yet, when you said centerline, which one was it?
Oh, centerline.
The installation, or after you ran it for a while?
No, well, it was before that. Before we installed it, I had to recognize all the adjustment points.
Right.
Yeah, once the equipment was on site, it's like a job that you walk around and try to find how many adjustment points we have in the line, and just try to find the best settings. For example, if a bolt needs to be like 25 Newton-meter torque, that's stuff, things like that.
But you had to run it to do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.